Typically in the classroom, teachers treat education as if it is separate from psychology, even though the two are connected. That means when they start teaching, they make some general assumptions about the minds of their learners, about the psychological and emotional needs of students. Those assumptions apply to many, but not to everybody. And as a result of that, some students end up feeling like they are stuck in a situation that isn't set up for them, that isn't including them, because it is not responsive to their psychological, emotional needs. So in a typical classroom, there is often a gap of not being sufficiently responsive to students who might need extra help, extra attention. And that's the mission of Chisholm Academy, to address that gap, to bring in a higher level of responsiveness to the students' psychological needs and to provide what they need in order to engage in learning, to really enter into that educational space with their teachers and fellow students. So Chisholm Academy is a private day school for kids in grades 7 to 12 who need extra help with their education. It accommodates kids dealing with learning issues like attention deficits, Asperger syndrome, or emotional issues like anxiety or depression. At bigger schools or schools that don't have a rich psychological support program, these students tend to either not receive enough attention or not the right kind of attention. One of the important strengths of Chisholm is that it is clear about what it does and what it does not. So for kids who deal with attention deficit, dyslexia, dysgraphia, or kids who deal with emotional challenges like depression, anxiety, those are within the scope of Chisholm. The school has the expertise and resources to address and support those challenges and to enable kids to improve their confidence in learning. On the other hand, the school does not cater to students who are dealing mainly with behavioral issues like aggressive or defiant behavior. So in other words, the school is quite clear about its scope, its purview, what it does and what it does not. What was clear in talking with the parents was a deep sense of relief and gratitude for just having found Chisholm. Many of them had been searching for support for their children for years without success. And not just in the public school system, but also in other private schools. The one parent said that after their first parent-teacher meeting at Chisholm, the two of them, the two parents, walked into the parking lot and just cried. Another parent of a boy who recently graduated said that they had spent a decade being told by other educators how their son can't do this or that, your son will never be able to graduate from high school. Then, finding Chisholm, they were suddenly being told about all the things he could do and all the positive things about him. And the school told them he'd definitely graduate. He just have to go about it in a slightly different way. A core feature that stands out about Chisholm Academy is their affiliation with a private psychology practice. So here in the practice, psychologists enhance the educational plans for students and in addition offer advice to teachers and even counseling services to students and their families. So it's a true collaboration, mutual enrichment between the psychological and the educational perspective. During the school day, there are 2 child and youth workers available to offer support. They are trained to pay attention and understand what is happening in the kids' minds. The child and youth workers also help deliver social skills education through guidance classes in grades 7 and 8 or through individual programs. One of them leads a series of group sessions twice a month for girls in grades 7 and 8. What they do is they get together and chat and explore subjects like healthy conflict or reading social cues or female friendships. I remember one of the parents talked specifically about these sessions and said that they noticed a big change in their daughters and their willingness to approach other girls in the class to form new friendships. When we toured the school, we heard a lot of laughter, uh, not just between students, but between students and the staff. For kids who quickly disengage if things get monotonous, I think having a bit of fun while learning is essential, and they really do that at the school. Again, parents also notice this. They mention that teachers at Chisholm bring fun into learning. We also learned from students at how the teachers at Chisholm keep the lessons engaging without adding stress, which is also essential for education for kids who might be prone to a stronger emotional response. Another parent said that her daughter is excited to go to school even though she understands that the academics can be difficult for her. But that doesn't stop her from continuing to be engaged and to be happy to go to school. One of the major ways that the school gives attention and care to students is by giving every student a special learning plan. It's called an individual education plan, or IEP. And teachers keep updating these plans as they go on to really best suit students' needs. And one thing that the school really prioritizes is making sure students have extra help and resources available outside of the regular school hours and classroom times. There are study sessions, for example, during lunchtime, and study sessions after school to make sure that students can have, if they need to, have more face time with their teachers. The individualized planning is really foundational to Chisholm's approach, because for the school, they have this belief that the students can achieve their best when the school tailors education to each student within small classes and with a lot of support. Talking with the vice principal, they also emphasized that the individual education plans, they are not fixed. They are changing, evolving documents that reflect the students' needs and potential as the school discovers them. So something that many parents have talked about is the contrast between the one-size-fits-all method at other schools versus Chisholm's more personalized style. One of the parents, which I think was quite representative of the parents generally at Chisholm, said that they realized after some time that their son just needed a bit more attention and understanding compared to what they used to get at another school. They said that at Chisholm, teachers just seem to know how to pay attention, both the amount of attention they provide and the quality of attention. And that's something that parents generally notice. The students we talked with, they also talked quite openly about the relief of feeling accepted, feeling secure at the school. They talked about how important it is that the school has a zero tolerance policy on bullying. And they said that it is not just window dressing like it is at some previous schools. It is implemented, it's a real policy. So bullying is just simply not tolerated, and teachers make sure of that. One of the students said that the school culture at Chisholm was so new to them that it was actually a little disorienting at first, a little confusing, because everybody was just so nice. Then, after some time, they start to get used to the idea that this can be a regular feeling safe and comfortable. So it might take some time for some kids to adjust to that new cultural environment, to learn that it is genuine. And I think that itself, that trust, is an important transformation for the kids. Chisholm started with the idea that being comfortable and feeling good, these are keys to learning, to starting to that process of education. Now, that sounds like a simple thing to do, but it's not. It takes expertise and a lot of care and passion to do it in a sustained and reliable way. So it was Dr. Howard Bernstein who started the school, and he believes that the first step, the foundational step in kids' education, is to make them feel good, make them feel comfortable. So what that means is that the school takes care of more than just schoolwork. They take care of the whole student. The work of Chisholm Academy has a whole dimension that focuses on strengthening students' ability to handle social situations. So their work clearly goes beyond just academics. This means teaching students how to manage conflict, how to understand different opinions, how to communicate well, and how to better be in touch with their own emotions. These social skills are woven throughout the school's curriculum. When we were chatting with the students, they talked about the culture of respect at the school. And several of them talked about the motto they hear each morning at the announcement. The motto is, treat everyone with dignity, equity, and respect. And we asked, how do students learn to treat each other with respect? They said, we learn it everywhere, from other students, from teachers, from principal, the staff. So there's a spirit of respect, in other words, permeating the school. And the kids feel it, and it becomes a conscious part of how they treat each other. So for example, in grade 9, instead of French, every student takes a learning strategies course that works on fundamental skills like time management and preparing for tests and things like that. Again, in grade 9, the students take an extra literacy course that gives them a more intensive preparation for the provincial literacy test that's required for graduation. Then in grade 12, there are two unique choices. The first is the co-op program, which we already touched on, quite popular among the students. The second one is a recreational leadership class, where students learn to plan and execute events. One of them is an event they organize for the younger students, and the other one is a school-wide celebration. Of course, teachers play the biggest role in improving social competence, and the key elements here are embodying trust and communication. The teachers we spoke with, they emphasized that the school isn't just about books. They want the students to start feeling safe, to, for example, play with a diverse set of opinions without fear. And the teachers also emphasized just the power of having simple conversations. And they said that just listening to students makes a huge difference. What is really interesting is how students at each school slowly start to embody the culture of that school. And in this context for Chisholm, that means students start to be supportive of each other. When we were interacting with the students, we really felt a sense of unity among them, and you could really detect that atmosphere of empathy. It's important for the school to not have hierarchies among students, to not have a competitive pressure. And instead, what they cultivate is a natural desire to uplift one another. And you see that among students and in their interaction. The physical education teacher also told us how common it is to see a student step in to help a classmate who's struggling. And they don't need to be asked. That's just the culture of the school. So these behaviors becoming habitual among the students, it shows that there is a genuine compassion being cultivated among the students. The building of Chisholm Academy from the outside looks quite spacious. But when you step inside, you'll find really cozy classrooms, and you realize the environment is designed to make learning comfortable and personal. To ensure everybody gets enough attention, the school limits its total enrollment to 135 students. And each class is capped at about 12 students, and some classes just have half of that, so about 6 students in each class. So a bit of history. The roots of Chisholm go back to 1971, when it began as a tutoring center. Dr. Howard Bernstein joined in 1980, focusing on assessing how kids learn, figuring out how their particular challenges could be addressed. About a decade later, in late 90s, parents started to express that they wanted something more, a full-fledged school that could really address their kids' educational and psychological needs, with small classes and a more comprehensive support, something that they felt was missing in the public school system. And in that context, in response to that need, Dr. Bernstein started Chisholm Academy. So it started in 1999 with just a handful of grade 9 students. And the school gradually grew. They added more grades over time until they got to where they are now. One thing to note about Chisholm leadership, the school has passionate and experienced individuals in the leadership. Dr. Howard Bernstein, Principal Sylvia Moisakos, and Associate Director Adam Bernstein. The school head and the principal have been with the school since its early days. Teachers told us how much they appreciate, how much they value them for being approachable, being warm, and having that calming, reassuring presence on the entire school. One teacher said that throughout her entire career, she hasn't found a more supportive team to work with. And the parents we spoke with also testified to this idea. They said when we talked with the school leadership, we realized they are not just knowledgeable in education and child psychology, they also genuinely care. And there is a human quality and passion in what they do, and parents can really detect that. So the admission process also has some unique features consistent with other unique features of Chisholm. The first contact is with parents, just the parents. So parents come in, take a tour of the school, they meet with, say, the associate director and the admissions officer. They describe their child's strengths and needs and ask any questions they have. If the school thinks that the child might be a good fit, they move on to the next stage. And in the next stage, every potential student provides a recent psychoeducational assessment. They could arrange it at a clinic of their choice, or they could do it at Chisholm Psychology Center. For the school, it doesn't really matter where they take that test. Now, in the next step, students come in for an interview, which is designed to be quite informal and as comfortable as possible. The school is mindful that this part of the process could cause some stress for the kids. So they make every effort to help them feel at ease. Sometimes they connect with the kids online before the interview and let them know that it will be a very casual meeting. The parents at Chisholm all have one crucial commonality, and that is having the experience of their child struggling in school. The specific reasons for that struggle are not as important. What is important is having that shared challenge of advocating for your child, finding an effective support, and navigating complex systems. One of the staff told us that by the time parents find us, they've often been through an awful lot, so they can be a little bit skeptical of things like IEPs because previously they might have not have worked for them. So one of the first steps in the relationship is for the school to earn the family's trust and show them that their individualized education can really work in the right environment and with the right teachers. Something else that Chisholm pays a lot of attention to is the fact that students really benefit from having a predictable schedule. Consistency. In general, consistency is an advantage to all students, but this is especially true for students who have particular psychological and educational needs. So every day consists of 4 classes, each class 70 minutes long. Especially in the 2 earlier grades, grades 7 and 8, there's an extra effort to keep things consistent and make it easy for students to know what to expect. One parent described it as having the advantage of simplicity, which from the child's perspective is experienced as a huge relief. In terms of what happens to the graduates, around 75% of the graduates go to college, 20% go to university, and a few go straight into jobs. What is impressive is that more than 90% get into their first choice of program after high school. Putting together a mix of applied courses, academic courses, and essential level courses, Chisholm really makes sure that students have a wide range of options after high school. And in addition, there is a co-op program in the upper grades, very popular with students, especially students who want to have hands-on job experience. Ultimately, the largest source of referral for Chisholm are the current parents. The associate director told us that families often don't even know that there are private school options for kids with special education needs. And once they discover Chisholm, they're so grateful because they finally see their child starting to thrive. They also find great relief in connecting with a community of other parents who get it, who understand what they've been through. Now, on the extracurriculars front, Chisholm makes sure students have plenty to explore beyond the classroom. The clubs and activities, they cover a wide array of interests from robotics, IT groups, photography, and mindfulness sessions. One thing to especially note is the drama club, which has created a special pride for its award-winning productions. And it has become a significant source of self-esteem for the students who participate in it. Sports also play a role in students' life at Chisholm, although it is not as competitive as some other schools might be. So all sporting competitions are internal, held within the school. But students still play, they still enjoy it. The teacher who leads many of the sports initiatives told us that students eagerly join, and throughout the year there's always a game going on. It could be ultimate frisbee, it could be basketball, or flag football. Regardless, Chisholm makes sure that every student finds their extracurricular niche. Beyond sports and drama, there is a diverse mix of clubs. Just one example, we heard the movie club is a popular one among the students. Like the teachers explained, these extracurriculars are not just hobbies. They're places for students to go and connect outside of class and pick up important life skills. In general, throughout the school, a lot of emphasis is placed on creating a nurturing environment. So talking both to the teachers and the students, it makes it really clear that the teachers and staff recognize their work isn't limited to academics. It's also about uplifting students' sense of self-worth through engagement with special events, fun activities, and in general, making them feel cherished within the school community. There is a common thread in what we have been hearing from the parents, which is about the emotional transformation they see in their kids. Some of them say their kids used to feel distant and reluctant to go to school, but within days at Chisholm, they are suddenly eager to start every day. And that's partly because of the amount of work and organization that is in place at the school. Parents feel the care provided by the school, and talking to them, they just couldn't say enough of how much the teachers show that care. One parent said that the teachers constantly pick up the kids when they are feeling down, constantly boosting the kids' confidence, taking a genuine interest in them outside and inside of the classroom. So those things are really great, especially from the perspective of the parents. From the very beginning, Chisholm works step by step, not just with the students, but also with the parents. And one parent said that they saw their son's confidence grow over a short period of time, which they felt was really profound. It made them realize that sending him to Chisholm was, for them, the best decision. This featured review is also published as a book, and it's available online at ourkids.net.